So this evening, like I said, the agribusiness class, we have some questions we have to treat. Now, question one, this is the question one we have from the chat box, from the Telegram group. My area, somebody said, in my area here, I just copied the question right here so that we can discuss it. My area, some persons don't eat certain fish like muskeper, tilapia, because they eat feces. Once people avoid buying livestock raised with mag meal for similar reason. Now, if you watch the video, that is producing mag meal on a small scale, on low production. If you are producing on large scale, mag meals are produced, if you're producing on large scale, like it's done in agri-protein, there are companies that are called agri-proteins and all these other companies that are producing to substitute animal feed. You find out that a lot of people queue for it. They sell massively because livestock, even now, without the mag meal production, go to where they are rearing livestock. Most of them go to poultry and go and pick their maggot to feed their livestock. Go to areas like that and everything. Yes, people might have their personal reason for not eating for not consuming some types of food, but is their personal, it depends on personal, how we feel it. What is good for some, what other people think is good might not be good, some others might think is not good. So it doesn't stop people from buying things produced from animal livestock. Now, the second question said, I think
this thing, just tired with this.
Actually, livestock feeds on grasses. They feed on grasses. Livestock feed on grasses, and so in most places, grasses are grown. They are even maize. You grow maize, you don't allow it to fruit and don't allow it to produce fruit. Yes, and you use it to feed livestock in form of eggs. So livestock are feed on grasses. So we don't normally import. Livestock feeds are not imported. They are produced locally. Why growing large feed of wheat, oat, corn, grain just to feed animals? Why not feed humans? We feed on animals too. This question, I don't know how to answer it anyway, but I think we feed on livestock. So it's a kind of support. So that's why they grow to feed like, the system, the ecosystem is kind of, how do I put it? The ecosystem is integrated within each other. So humans cannot live alone. They're supposed to be sort of protein, and we got our protein from livestock. So somebody said, well, what is so special about animal proteins? Animal proteins are great. I'm not a nutritionist, or what do they call it, but I just know they said animal proteins are great. So that's the little I understand about that. Question 2, in the case of crop production, which of the following method is more feasible and efficient means of pest management and control? Organic pest management, integrated pest management. Now, when you are talking of organic, means we are using everything natural for your farm. We are using anything natural. And when we talk of natural, we mean not using chemicals, synthetic, and all this stuff. So when you say which one is more efficient, integrated means, okay, organic is natural. Integrated means you are using, you are combining several methods. You are integrating a lot of methods. You are putting it together a lot of methods. For instance, as you are using your neem leaf or dongoyaro, you are also using animals to control animals. Like you can use some bigger livestock to control the smaller ones. Like some birds feed on insects and all this stuff. That's integrated. So both are very efficient, but I will say integrated is one of the best methods of pest management and control. Okay, so it's still the same method, but this is more complex than just organic pest control. Organic, you can decide to use one system or the other, but integrated means you are combining a lot of systems from one stage to the other. You are using the system to monitor themselves. That is for the integrated pest management. Now, the third question, there's a question I omitted, I did not copy. I'll bring it as question 4 when we get there. So I mean, so now there's trying to be climate change smart. How do we use farm machineries, the available heavy-duty machines, without having detrimental effect on the soil and its inhabitant microorganisms? Actually, if you are using, to be candid, what I said about climate change is this. In what I say about climate change is this: in Africa, we don't cause much of the climate change effect. Climate change are mainly caused from the developed countries with their heavy use of machineries, industries, processings, and every other thing. But here in Africa, we are not using all those heavy machineries. But now, if you are looking at climate change, you have to reduce the kind of machineries you use as everything. Presently in Nigeria, in Africa, our tools and everything are still, we are still 90% manual labor. So we don't even cause much of the climate changes and everything. So the effect we are feeling comes from the developed countries. They come from the developed countries. So yeah, we are not the one that cause most of the climate change effect. The question 4 that I omitted, sorry. So the available heavy-duty machines, so there's no way you can be using heavy-duty machines and not add to climate change effects. Definitely you will add to it, but it may come in different quantity. The machineries we are still using in Africa for now, we are not contributing as much as developed countries with their machineries, not their machineries and their chemical use and every other thing. We in Africa contribute less in climate change issues to whatever. So for now, personally, for me, yes, for your farm, the effect they cause on your farm personally is that the sun is too high, the water rate, the evaporation rate will be very high, and because of that, it affects our crops. So if you are planting, you need to put, I'm sure you read the climate change. I intentionally put that one as the early stage before we get into maize, tomato, and all these other forms. So the climate change really affects us on the farm, but like I said, you can only minimize the effect of it. You cannot completely eradicate it because it's something we don't have a control over. The control should come from where the causes come: planting of more trees, reducing the use of the heavy-duty machineries. But like I said, what we are using in Africa, in Nigeria, is still extremely low, very, very low to the effect, but we are feeling the effects. I hope I answered those questions. Then the 4th question, sorry, I skip it, but I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it from the page. Forgive me. It was later I got the question. Somebody asked about the machines we bought the machines we buy for the farm workers. Yes, those machines, when you buy them, you write, the question says, those machines you buy, sorry. What about the motorbikes you buy, in whose name is it registered in? And is it for them to go with when they are going? Yes, when they work for you for a year, if the boys come to your locality for a year and they work for you, they are not going. When the boys come to your locality to work for you for a year, they are not going to collect salary for that 1 year that they are with you. You are not paying them monthly salary. Like, when somebody work for you, if it's daily work, they say, okay, you pay 10,000 here, or you pay, if I do this work for you, you pay 50,000 monthly, or you pay 100,000. They won't collect salary. So it is that their salary from January, February, they won't come January, or they might come February, they might come March, depending on when they come. But once you have an agreement that you are paying motorcycle to them, so when they come around, when they are going by December, you have to buy that motorcycle, and you have to buy the motorcycle. So motorcycle is assumed to be the work they've done for you for a year. Now, in their home category, a year is not 12 months. A year could be 10 months. A year could be 12. It's not usually 12 months, because at the beginning of the year, they will not come in January. They will not come in February. Some will even come in March, and they are going by December. Every one of them will definitely go by December. So when they are going by December, you have to buy them the motorcycle. But recently, Recently, as we are discussing now, just in the last 1 month, farmers in my area, not only in my area, farmers in Okeogun zone, there's something we call Okeogun zone. It covers about 10 local government with other states. Farmer in Kwara state and some part of Oyo state and some part of, they are now negotiating that they don't want to be paying motorcycle to those farm workers again. As in, they want they don't want to be paying motorcycle, they want to pay money to them, as in pay them monthly, because motorcycle now, at the beginning of the year, when you are getting those boys, like this year, let me use this 2023, when we are getting those boys at January, February, March, the motorcycle was 420,000, 430,000. Presently now, we are getting to December, when those guys will be going, motorcycle is already 620,000, 600,000. So you can see the difference. So farmers cannot say this is how much we buy a motorcycle at the end of the year. So there's presently a meeting going on if farmers succeed. But unfortunately, if they succeed, next year means we will not get farm workers to work on our farm, because most of them will not come. But I told somebody, I said, yes, they might, oh my, I said they might not come. I said they might not come this year or next year to come and work, but they are coming, they will definitely come by upper year. Sorry, my internet is really very unstable. That's why it seems I'm running very fast. So they will not come they will not come next year. So farmers are going to suffer next year if they insist on that, because presently they said nobody must buy a motorcycle. I learned if you buy a motorcycle now, they are seasoning it. The association, farmers association are seasoning it. You can't buy a motorcycle. So, you know, if they didn't buy a motorcycle for them this year and they pay money, because actually farmers are negotiating that they want to be paying 400,000 annually, because apart from that motorcycle, you still buy food, you are responsible for their feeding, you are responsible for their housing, you are responsible for their health, you are responsible for clothing, everything for the period they are with you. And sometimes some of them are lazy, they might not even do the actual work, they just believe they will collect motorcycle at the end of the year and they will not do the work you ask them to do. So presently, the last meeting I went was about 3 weeks ago. I'm supposed to keep updated, but I've not been very punctual at the meeting. So they are agreeing that nobody must buy a motorcycle. It's money they want to pay. Though the 400,000 might not work for a year, but I'm hoping they get to a reasonable point. But what I'm trying to say is that next year is going to be extremely challenging, because one, our currency has gone so bad, and even now, when we give them 500,000, if you give them 600,000 here, when they change money, they are getting for something in their account. The way the currency is just a bit, Nigerian currency is bad. So next year, farmers are in for a very difficult time on farm workers. I'm talking of my area, because my area is close to the border, and a lot of foreigners comes into the border to come and work. Like this year, I have 2 boys that are presently still with me. Definitely, I will be paying money to if farmers conclude, but that money is just something we are discussing. So please, if there's any other question, since we are not much, if there's any other question too, we can discuss it briefly, maybe in the next 10 minutes before, so that we can. But if there's question, my network is really, really, really very bad. But if you can hear me, and if there's any question you want us to discuss, these are the questions I have for today from our discussion. Hello, are you there with us? Hello? Please, if you are there, you can drop message in the chat box. The topic today, as in what we discussed this afternoon, or somebody said, what was our topic today? As in what we just discussed now. If it's what we just discussed now, please, you can play the video over when we leave this Zoom class. I attended to the questions we have right here, as in the questions that were dropped in the chat box. I just attended to the question that were dropped in the Telegram group. My network is still going bad. Hello. Please drop your message. Somebody is raising up hand. Please drop your message. Just chat, put it in the chat box, write what you want to ask. Video to working here since. Honestly, I don't understand the question. Sir, I don't video, so I am reading the chat, but I don't understand the question, sir.